Hi, aloha, and welcome to Spirit Chat. So, I wanted to do an updated energy report today because the energy is crazy, absolutely nuts, and it's affecting people's lives in a way that they're feeling uncomfortable or having anxiety and all these different things. So, I wanted to address what was kind of going on energetically for those who are sensitive. If you're sensitive, there is this transitional shift that's happening in this frequency change. There's this frequency going on right now, moving into 2020. And you want to think of this as kind of a long-term, I would say, projection. So what's happening right now, imagine it like this. We're moving from one frequency into a higher frequency. We're moving from a physically based frequency, one that we've been used to and we love, and all of our memories are there, and everything's wonderful. So you imagine it like you've had this house you've lived in since you were born, because that's the frequency you've lived in since you were born, is this same frequency. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years old or 110. You've been born into this current, or this, well, soon to be past, frequency. You were born into the same frequency and you adjusted to it. It felt good to you. So, like I said, you want to imagine this as like your house. It's your spiritual house that you grew up in. And you've been in this house for a very long time. You have created memories there. You've had all kinds of, knowledge building happening in there. You've had experiences. You've had relationships. You've had all of these wonderful, wonderful things happen, and some not so wonderful. But it's all a part of your life, right? It's part of this house that you've lived in. Well, so now imagine that your house is being bulldozed to the ground, pushed over, everything's being cleared away, and you're getting ready to build your dream house, the most wonderful dream house that you've ever imagined. It's exciting. You get to have more input on how you want this house to look, and that's your future. That's the future frequency. You get, if you're moving into this new frequency and you start aligning with it, you will feel like you have a lot more manifestation energy going in. So you will feel like your universal energy is a lot more powerful, your connection with universal energy, and so you kind of have a say. You will feel like you have more of a say in what you're building for your future. Your wants, needs, and desires on a spiritual level will be more listened and listened to and heard, and they will take that desire that you have into accountability as they create this most beautiful house. The problem is we are in the middle of the old house being pushed down and wrecked down, the wrecker ball coming through, and building the new house. And that's what kind of this year is going to probably feel like, but definitely the beginning of this year. So for those of you who are worried about, if you're one of those people who are like, but I kind of liked my old house and I like the memories I have there. I like some of the stuff that was in there. What's going to happen is, again, it's going to seem very much like if you were pushing down your old house and moving to your new one. You're going to have to decide what to bring with you. What's going to serve you well in the new house? And that means that's going to relate to relationships. It's going to relate to jobs. So imagine relationships and jobs are going to be like furniture and stuff that you're moving into your new house. What will fit? What fits that new version and that new vibe of you? Some of it's going to fit very nicely, and you're going to compartmentalize it and build this perfect room for it. You may have a man cave, you may have a basement, you may have just a relaxing room, you may have a sports room, whatever, and you want to bring some of these energy things into your new house. You want to bring some of the furniture into you want to move some of it over. It has a nice spot. You've created a nice spot. So that would be some relationships, some current ways that you do things, some, you're going to bring your memories with you and your photos and all that kind. So those have a place in your new future. However, the memories and photos and old bills and things that financial stuff that you no longer, taxes you've had for 20 years, you're going to leave that in the old house, right? So you're going to leave that in the old frequency. You don't want to bring any old paper junk with you into the new house just because you hoard on to energy and you don't want to, leave anything of your old life behind. That's not going to work for your new house. It's going to clutter the whole thing up and it's not going to have the same vibe. But again, the problem is, I've talked about this energy and the frequency and moving forward and how we're going to release old ties and do all that stuff. But there's a very uncomfortable place because we feel misplaced in the interim. We don't have our new house built yet, and our old house is kind of not there anymore. So, and it's being destroyed. So it's piece by piece, they're knocking down walls, but you can't currently live there. So you feel very in between. And so that makes you, if you're very sensitive, it makes you feel very unsettled. But I have done you'll be getting another 2020 energetic podcast that I did on that later. One of the things that I currently wanted to address, but it kind of falls into this category, is right now the spiritual activity is off the charts. And for this week and going into the next few weeks, it might even be a little bit longer than that, there is a lot of spirits who are coming into the interim, and they're coming into the in-between section, and they're kind of messing with all of your stuff. And as they're messing with all of your stuff, it's causing panic and fear and worry, okay? And so the thing is with this that's different than any other one is I noticed that the spirit frequency was getting higher probably last week or something like that. I mean, the spiritual energy, the spiritual frequency was just starting to go off the charts. It was higher than I normally see it. But there was also something different that was coming along with this. It wasn't just higher than I normally see it, but these spirits are coming in together in groups. And so normally when you get something like when the spirit activity is higher and they kind of start messing with your stuff, and of course it's Mercury retrograde, so that's a great time for your electronics to go all crazy and stuff like that. It's not just... Normally, you kind of see them coming in individually, or when I see this happening, I see them coming in and they're kind of very individually coming in with their own agenda, or they're just coming in and they all know that they're lower frequency and they're working towards the same thing, but it's not like they're binding together in groups. Right now, because we're in the interim of moving from a lower frequency to a higher frequency, it's almost like the lower vibration spirits sense a weak spot for us. And so now they're working together to cause some major havoc in people's lives. And I don't want you to be afraid of it. I just want you to be aware of it, because then you get to make the separation. That's the whole entire point. There's a lot going on as they're binding together and working as a group. And so these are low vibration spirits that come in and they work as a group. And so you will want to imagine it like you're staying at a friend's house because you're between your old house and your new house, right? But there are still some valuable things that you're kind of concerned about, wondering about, because you need to move them over to your new house. You don't really have storage for it, and you worry about vandals coming in, and they do come in. They come in groups, and they're coming in and they're just destroying some things that you feel like, or you're worried that because they're destroying things on the outside, or they're making such a ruckus, or they're coming in with a destruction vibe, that you're worried that they're going to hit all your valuable stuff. And even though that your valuable stuff isn't necessarily what they're looking for, they're looking to actually trigger emotional responses from you. Because once you trigger emotional responses in people, they just self-destruct on their own, right? So they don't even need to touch your valuables. They just need to make you think that they're going to, and then you react accordingly and just, have meltdowns and make choices based out of fear, which is their best ally, is when you start making choices based out of fear. So because we're in between, it's causing a few things. It's causing us to not feel safe. It's causing us to not feel stable. And what I mean by that is your version of safe and stable might be totally different than somebody else's. But the underlying theme of feeling safe and stable is the same. So what's going on during this time is you might see shifts or changes, or fear shifts or changes that might be messing with something that makes you feel stable. It could be a job, it could be financial security, it could be relationships, it could be health. We have that whole coronavirus thing going on, and people are losing their mind over this, which is very interesting because they're mostly people who are watching the news who also are not getting the appropriate facts that it's not the first coronavirus and the spreading rate is very similar to the flu, and they're getting the low vibration spirits are feeding upon this, like they're just loving it, and they're spreading the low vibration vibe. When you align with it, you align with a low vibration telegraph, so to speak. And so if you're a sensitive person, what happens is you start tuning in because you're now in this low vibration telegraph or low vibration radio station. You've now turned your signal. You've turned your focus of where you naturally pull in psychic information or spiritual information. And you may or may not even think that you have that high a gift, but I promise you, everybody has the gift of being able to tune in their psychic radio station. It's just that you may not know how you're doing it or when you're doing it, and you may be unaware that you've changed the station. So you may not have the exact tools of knowing how to operate the station, but there's a station. So anyways, what's happening is when these spirits are coming in and really in mass quantities are lowering your vibration, because now they've instilled fear and worry. You've accidentally you've tuned your radio into their frequency now. And now you get to hear all their activity of, oh my God, yeah, we're going to do this and we're going to do that, and this is probably going to happen. And now you're listening and you've tuned into their vibe. And their vibe is a frequency that goes through everybody else in the world's, lower vibration frequency. So now you're on this low vibe channel that everybody gets to comment on and put their fears and worries on, and now fear make you scared some more. So if it's not just pertaining to your personal life, it's going to also pertain, especially right now, to global fears and worries. Because this frequency, this spirit frequency that we're experiencing between the old house and the new house, this destruction, this low vibration, this I guess I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but it's like, this rally, that's a good word, this low vibration rally that we're experiencing is purposely to cause intimidation. They don't want anybody moving into the new house or building the new house. They want to create such fear that you just completely self-implode. And so this is really working well. And I'm noticing a lot of people are jumping on this bandwagon. A lot of people are tuning into the frequency. I've noticed it around myself personally. I've talked to other of my colleagues, and they're noticing it. I mean, we have people coming to us with fears and worries that are absolutely unfounded at this point in time through readings and different things. You would not believe the amount of panic, fear, and worry that this is creating. And so that's the first step, is you want to know, or you need to know, that you're in between the old house and the new house, and there's this rally going on that is creating a lot of fear and worry for you. And if you don't know where the fear and worry is coming from, you will slap a label on it. Your brain will try to make sense of, why am I so anxious today? Why am I feeling so worried today? Why am I feeling like unsafe? Why do I feel like my stability is being threatened? What is happening? And so if you're feeling worried or anxious, you're gonna try to slap a label on it, like coronavirus, or if it's not that, it could be weather, it could be something else. You're gonna look for, like, there's a reason, like, why. And you may not consciously even be thinking this, but it's what the brain does. It wants to solve problems for you, so it wants to help you solve these puzzles. And when something's not matching, like, for instance, you didn't just have an experience that made that emotion happen, but you're just waking up with this overall vibe. Any super high emotional energy of any kind, if you're waking up or you're experiencing during the day, any like panicky feelings, anxieties, worries, any of these low vibration feelings, even kind of sadness or depression, or again, feeling like you're not feeling safe or you're not feeling stable, then, and it doesn't relate to something that just happened and then triggered that emotion, but you're having to go, what is going on with me? Then you are highly sensitive and tuned in to the lower frequency channel. And so you are aware of it. Now, that is not necessarily, well, I mean, I was going to say it's not bad or good. It's not good, I guess. But what I meant was, it's not an indication of your abilities and your strength of your abilities, because even myself and my colleagues, we can tune into that channel as well. The difference is when we're noticing a disconnection between a specific event happening in our life, and if we start getting to a place where we're just, oh my gosh, anticipating that this potentially could possibly maybe sort of create itself in the future, yeah, that's unfounded. You can't, like, once you start doing that, you know that you're just really riding that low vibration radio station. You are fully in and fully invested and doing what everybody else is doing. If you find that you're doing that, you need to be aware that your sensitivities are high, that your gifts are probably high in that area where you're actually very aware of frequency shifts. You're probably very aware of spiritual energy. You may not be able to put your finger on outcomes, or like put your finger on, well, how do I control it, or how do I do this? But kind of that's what you have me for, right? To point it out for you. But most likely you are a highly sensitive person. You are in tune with your psychic senses. So what do you do about it? What you do is you first decide a couple of different things. What's happening, if it's a current situation that's causing you that problem, and you're like, no, I can put my finger on this one, then what's happening is you're in transition from moving furniture from your old house to your new house. And you need to be figuring out, are you bringing that with you? Because if you're in a battle, like maybe you were, maybe a job didn't come through right now, or maybe you even lost a job, or like a relationship or whatever, then the universe is arguing with you, going, no, you can't bring that to the new house. And you're like, yeah, but I really like this. This is my most comfy chair. And they're like, yep, nope, there's no place for that. It doesn't fit here. You're going to regret it. It's going to ruin this beautiful house I'm building for you. And you're like, yeah, but I've had it for so long, and I like it. And they're like, no. So you're in this argument, right? You're in this argument with the universe of what furniture you're moving over. And if you can pinpoint it, it's just like going, you're not making good choices here. And we're going to just battle about this until you make a better choice, because I'm putting all this energy into this beautiful decor and this wonderful environment that you told me you wanted, and I know you're going to love. You're still trying to bring old stuff over. That's what's happening there. But if you're just kind of waking up this way, or you're feeling abnormally like you can't pinpoint it to anything, then truthfully, you should feel like, wow, I'm pretty tuned in. That's pretty cool. I mean, I know you probably don't, but like, if in the grand scheme of things, you should be like, wow, my sensitivities are good. They're spot on. I'm feeling the vibe. I'm paying attention to the energy that surrounds me, and I'm getting a read on it. Not, so that's kind of a cool thing. But you don't want to read that into your life. That's where you want to stop. That's where you want to put the stoppers on, right? You want to go, okay, this is cool. I'm getting it. It's not matching anything in my life, though. So I need to put blocks up here. I need to put stoppers up here and realize that this is kind of a bummer that I don't really want to be going through this, but I know it doesn't pertain to my life, right? So what happens when you really separate energetically with your mind, you begin to separate energetically from the junky stuff. So it's like you're just like going, yeah, well, make all the racket you want. I know my valuables are safe and whatever. You do your thing and entertain yourself over there, and I'm good over here. You know what I mean? And then there's always distraction of, once you realize it doesn't belong to you, you distract yourself into other things that you're passionate about, because that's where we're moving towards the house. And what that would be, for instance, is, don't worry about what's going on. Your valuables are safe over there. Let them cause all the racket and spray paint up what they want to, because you're not bringing that old wood with you. But start picking out your floors and your shower curtain and your furniture for your new place. Create for the future. What is it that you really want to do? Where are you going? Don't stop creating, because that is another thing that is kind of the vibe of the spirit's distraction right now. They're causing all kinds of racket. They're drawing your focus because they don't want you moving forward with the creation of this beautiful new house. The longer they can distract you, the harder it is to really get into the flow of building this new house, right? You kind of back and forth. It just prolongs things for you. And if you move forward with fear, like, oh, geez, I don't want this to happen again, so I'm going to put bulletproof windows in, and I have to have the security system in, and I have to do all this stuff. Now you've created a house that is not a comfortable, safe, feeling, trusting vibe, right? Now you're creating like Fort Knox or like, Alcatraz or something. So those are things that you want to be aware of. You don't want to be moving into building your house out of fear and worry. That's just, if you feel like you're going to do that, you might want to take a minute to just go, truthfully, you might want to take a minute to just scare the bejesus out of yourself and just go, okay, what is the absolute worst case scenario here? Okay, and work through that and go, well, I guess I could, lose my house or lose my rent or whatever and have to go live with a friend or parents. But, the thing is, you're probably most likely, even if that did happen, you'd be able to get back on your feet. You're smart enough. You're good enough. You're creative enough that you're going to be able to pull yourself out. Most people are strong enough and smart enough that they're going to be able to do that. They're going to be able to recreate. They're going to be able to be in a better spot. There's better stuff going on ahead. So don't get caught up in the spiritual noise that's going on right now. Don't get caught up in the droves of, really wanting to scare you and put fear into you and make you not feel comfortable and safe in moving forward in this new vibration. That's all just a scare tactic, and a lot of people are tuning into that right now. So you want to make this separation of what it's pertaining to. If you're not seeing a separation and you're seeing it's directly relating to something, then you want to realize that you're arguing with the universe about moving the new furniture in. And you want to listen to the universe and see, like, well, obviously they're seeing something I'm not, and this isn't working moving forward. So I'd like to kind of start to tune into what their idea is of moving forward. What's out there for me? What can I bring into that house? What suits it better, right? Oh, you don't want to stay back and go, I don't care. I'm sitting in this chair and I'm going to rebuild this part of this house over here. I'm just gonna remodel my house, but I'm keeping this chair. Like, that's ridiculous. So, because then you're just gonna be in the same unhappy place you were, only you're just denying that you were unhappy or it wasn't suiting you or whatever. So, you want to address that, entertain the thought of what you're missing and what needs to shift for you to move into your new house. You want to ignore the underlying fear, panic, and worry that seems to be going on right now. You want to just literally ignore it. Like, I mean, distract yourself. Do not become a part of that. It is not, most likely not a part of your life, but you're trying to figure out how to fit it into your life. So that's, once you realize it's very separate from you and that your abilities are heightened, good job that your abilities are heightened. Now compartmentalize, not part of you. And check yourself when you're having really high emotional energy. And by checking yourself, I mean, like, put a lid on it for a minute and go, am I being over emotional? Like, is it warranted? Is it justified that I'm kind of like acting out or being super emotional in any way, whether it's feeling upset or frustrated, but you're feeling super emotional about it and, like, you know, you're expressing it? You might want to put a cork on it. Just examine that for a minute. Does it seem rational that I'm feeling this way, or that I'm lashing out at people with this high emotional way, or that I'm working myself up because of this high emotion? Does this seem rational? Is it matching my situation? And if it's something that you're just like, no, you know, it's not matching a situation. It's not a fit. Like, I'm overreacting somehow and I'm not really sure why. Then you just put that in your old house destruction zone. You move it out, you compartmentalize it and go, nope, I'm not subscribing to this. I refuse. Like, if you do anything, just refuse. Just get stubborn and just go, okay, I heard what Jen said. I'm just going to try my best to just be like, nope, that's not part of my life, and then do something else. The other thing that you'll want to do right now is a lot of clearing. I'm thinking about, and I will post it potentially, but I want to try to post my my angel meditation, my angel clearing meditation for you, because that meditation is insanely helpful when it comes to stuff like this and when it comes to high spirit activity. It's very specifically designed to clear high spirit activity around you, your energetic, your family members, your house, whatever. So I will see if I can try to get that posted for you. So you would want to do something like that. You would want to clear with sage incense. Just make sure you're doing grounding 3000, working out, whatever, and that you're not subscribing to that feeling, and you're really distracting yourself with creating future scenarios, things that maybe you don't see panning out in the next 2 days or 2 weeks, but you know, you don't know when. You're just going to work on it creating somewhere into the future. You're going to work on it because we still have the manifestation energy going on. So I hope that you found this helpful. I will, again, try to look for the angel meditation, see if I can get that up for you. But you will definitely want to subscribe to the notifications or the channel if you're listening on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. You want to subscribe and make sure you hit the notification bell, especially if you really need to get this clearing and whatnot, because if I try to get that up this weekend or something, then you don't want to miss it. You want to be using it now because you'll find it helpful. And there's some cool quizzes and stuff I have below if you're interested in that. But you will make it through. Don't worry about it. But I wanted you to be aware of it, because awareness is everything. It's the key to everything, especially if you're super sensitive. And that helps with the separation. So have the most amazing day. Enjoy yourself. Aloha.
Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teens safer as they grow, like making sure they've got the right gear for riding.
Knee pads.
Check.
And helmet?
Done. See you, Dad.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.